Hi, this is James Moss, and I'm doing a review of the kick-ass sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yep, I got here the Extreme DVD edition, right here. Yep, released on July 3rd, 1991, directed by James Cameron once again. Before I should do the review, I should show you this. This is the Terminator 2 Judgment Day Marvel comic book adaptation of this movie. Yeah, I got it right here when I was a kid. Yep, it's pretty good. See? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Just a minute. Let's begin. It started with a narration about the future made by Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton. Yeah. And we get to Los Angeles. Everything's fine, but then cut to the future where everything's all gone to hell because of a nuclear bomb attack. Yeah. She gets worried about that her son, John Connor, is a hero in the future, yeah. Cut to the title card, and then we get to 1990, to the 90s, where she explained that the first Terminator was sent to 1984 to kill her before John was born. Backfire. But now there's a new attempt. Just a minute. That is to go back when John Connor was still a minor, a teen. Yeah, that's when we get to the T-1000, played by Robert Patrick. Yep, who is made of metal, who is liquid, who could transform to any people at all times except solid objects. Yeah, the T-1000 killed a cop, took the cop's uniform, and go track down John Connor. Meanwhile, the Terminator, still played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, just a minute, teleported to the 90s as well, but naked and walking into this biker bar, to this bar place, totally naked, looking for a motorcycle, found it, then looking for some new clothes to wear. He actually found the guy who saying, yeah, I need to borrow, and Arnold says, I need to borrow your jacket, shirt, pants, boots, everything. But that guy put a cigar burn on the chest right here, and Arnold kicking his ass, throwing him into the grill, and then raised some hell. And then the biker guy said, "Here, take it." Took the biker guy's key to his bike, to his motorcycle, and then Arnold wearing the clothes and walk off. But the owner of that bar says sorry. He took the sunglasses, and just drove like hell. Just a minute. Meanwhile, we cut to a suburban house where John Connor's taken in by his foster parents. Boy, they're acting like a bunch of jackasses, yeah? His foster dad, Todd, is a real jackass and an asshole, yeah? Anyways, he said, that's when his wife saying, John hasn't cleaned up his room in weeks, you better go tell him. Okay. And John Connor, played by Edward Furlong. Yeah, he's a good actor in this film, yeah. He was just tuning his bike with his friend Tim, played by Danny Kukuski. Yeah, he was in Salute Your Shorts, and he was in the final 2 seasons of Different Strokes. Yeah. Anyways, that's Todd saying, John, your mom says you better clean up your room. She ain't my mom, Todd. And he and his friend drove out of there. And Tim says, boy, your foster parents are a bunch of dicks. Yeah. He went to the ATM machine to use his mom's PIN number. And took money out of her account to go to the arcade at the mall to play some video games. Yeah. Tim look at the picture of Sarah Connor and says, well, your mom's pretty nice. Yeah, whatever. Because that Sarah Connor got arrested for trying to destroy Cyberdyne Industries buildings, but she got arrested. Just a minute. Meanwhile, at this mental hospital where Sarah Connor is staying there. Yeah, she's trying to... We get to Dr. Silverman, played by Earl Byrne. He was in the first film. He's in the sequel as well. Trying to explain about Sarah Connor's patient. Sarah trying to convince them that she's sane enough, but they don't buy it. She was pissed. Now, in the Extreme DVD edition, I got right here, there was a scene that was not seen in the theatrical version. When Sarah had a dream that was Kyle Reese, the guy who played in the first film, reprised his role in the sequel. That was cut because, well, there's a time constraint. Yeah, she was happy to see him, but it was a dream, and we get to see the future. And she woke up. Anyways, the T-1000 questioned John's foster parents, saying, "Can I have a picture of him?" He says, "Okay." Yeah, the T-1000 was looking for John Connor, asking anyone. He went to the mall. Yeah, that's when we get to, wow, John Connor was playing Afterburner. It's a good arcade game. He was playing Afterburner. The T-1000 posing as a cop, asking everyone at the arcade. Tim trying to warn John, says, hey, there's a cop scoping for you. Yeah, okay. John snuck out of the back while Tim playing the Afterburner game in his place. Just a minute. Anyways, the T-1000 is hot on John's trail. That's when we get to the Terminator, who's got a gun inside of the box. John was confused, but the Terminator took out the T-1000 only for a short minute. Got John out of there. The T-1000 decided to raise some hell at the mall. The mall was shot at where Fast Times at Richmond High and Chopping Mall and Night of the Common was shot there. Well, anyways, the T-1000 is hot on the Terminator and John Connor's trail. The T-1000 got out of the mall, break into this guy's truck and drove it. Meanwhile, John trying to get away from the T-1000 on his motorbike and then jumping into the ravine, trying to lose him, but the T-1000's hot on the trail refused to give up on him. That's when the Terminator appeared, rescued John, and got him out of there just in time. But the T-1000 survived and is hot on his trail. Just a minute. Meanwhile, John and the Terminator stop at this place, and John trying to process on what the hell is going on. And then that's when John says, "Okay, time out. I know you're not sent here to destroy me, right?" "Yes, I've been sent from the future to help you." "Who sent you?" "You did. Years from now." Yep, and then John and the Terminator just driving all over. And he says, "I gotta go call my foster folks." So he used a payphone to call. Because the Terminator ripped out and here's a quarter. John called his foster mom, saying, "Are you okay, John?" She says, "Yeah." And that's when Todd says, "Silence, tell John when he gets home to silence that dog of his, Max." But his foster mom is actually the T-1000 killing his foster dad. Yeah, he got what he deserved. Because Todd was drinking his milk when he was killed by the T-1000. Yeah. That's when the Terminator took over his voice and he explained to John, "Your foster parents are dead." "What?" "No, that will be the first thing. He'll go. So we better leave." Yeah. Now in the Extreme DVD edition, there was a scene where the T-1000, after killing John's foster parents, he stepped outside, look at the dog, and kill Max. Yeah, that was only in the theatrical version. Yep. Just a minute. That's when the Terminator and John went to the asylum where his mom is there, trying to get her out. Sarah may manage to escape, but that's when the T-1000 appear, and that's when the Terminator appear, and she was freaked out. And John says, "No, he's on our side now." That's when the T-1000 trying to get him, but those three managed to escape from the insane asylum, and they made it out. They decided to hide out in this abandoned gas station, so that way the T-1000 could repair him. So that way the Terminator could repair himself. Yeah, in the director's cut right here, yeah, we see a chip inside that survived from the first film. Took it out and John repaired it and put it back in there. It's true. Just a minute. Yep. So after the repairs are done the next day, they decided drove to Mexico to meet up with Sarah Connor's friend, who is a survivor, who got a bunch of guns inside. Yeah, it's true. Enrique, yeah. Her friend who got a bunch of guns and, yeah, everything to get ready in case something like this would happen, yeah. John's greeted by Enrique's wife and his children, yeah. That's when he says, "Who's that guy?" He says, "Oh, this is my uncle, John." Okay. That's when the Terminator picked up that little boy and looked at it and put him back gently. Yeah, that's a good thing that the Terminator was just curious about kids. As John looked at the guns that the Terminator looked at it, that Sarah Connor got a lot, he was impressed. That's when Sarah Scroll said, "No fate." When Sarah had a dream, there was a children playing. Now the woman who is taking care of the kids is her twin sister. Yeah, she sadly passed away from COVID in 2020. May God bless her soul. Just a minute. Meanwhile, while they were playing, that's when a nuclear bomb attack launched. The woman and the children were killed off by the bomb, and then the bomb appeared to disintegrate everything, killing everyone, including Sarah. But it was a dream she was having. And then she left. That's when John was trying to find his mom. That's when he noticed on the bench a sign says "No fate." He figured out he's going to kill John Dyson. Going to kill Miles Dyson. Yeah. Now Miles Dyson is in the sequel as well. Now, in the director's cut right here, we get to see his wife and his two kids. He actually had two kids, not one, two kids. Yeah. Yeah. And then later that night, went to Miles Dyson's house. It's a pretty good house. It has a pool, everything. Now, Miles Dyson is played by Joe Monton. I mispronounced his last name, but anyways, where his son was playing with his remote control car, and then bumped into his dad's foot. That's when Sarah appeared with a gun. She was about to terminate Miles Dyson, but John stopped him just in time. Because Miles Dyson has the chip and the cybernetic arm over at Cyberdyne building. Yeah, the Terminator. John take Miles' son to his room and show him everything. That's when the Terminator show the arm, the cybernetic arm. Yeah, he's freaking out about it. Just a minute. Now Dyson was planning on quitting his job, but he said, "No, somebody's gotta follow your plan." So they all went to Cyberdyne Industries instead, all four of them, to go there to destroy everything. Yeah, they opened the keys. That's when the T-1000 appeared right in the motorcycle going after them. They managed to get the arm and the computer chip. they're planning to blow the building up. That's when the cops appear. Sarah, John, and the Terminator escape, but Miles Dyson chose to stay and blow up the building. And Miles Dyson died. Rest in peace. And that's when we get to the infamous final showdown inside of them steel mills. Yeah, you don't see steel mill plants these days. Nope. Not in Pittsburgh, down in America. Nope. Just a minute. And the final showdown begun. That's when we get to the T-1000 trying to disguise himself as Sarah, but backfires. Yeah. The Terminator took out the T-1000 by shooting him multiple times and fell into the molten lava. That's when the T-1000 die instantly. And that's when the Terminator says there's some unfinished business. So John tosses out the computer chip and the cybernetic arm into the lava pit, and the Terminator says there's one more. Him, and he says, no, don't. I'll be back. Yeah. He also says hasta la vista, baby, to the T-1000 before shooting the final blow. Yeah. The Terminator sacrifices his own life, die, and gives a thumbs up. Yeah. Now in the theatrical version, we see that Sarah explained there are two roads on the dark road on what path we choose, yeah. Now, there was an alternate ending. We get to a happy 2029 where everything's fine. Skynet never exists. Everything is fine. John Connor is like a senator now. And Sarah is an old lady now, yeah. And of course, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is a brilliant sequel. I'll give it a 5 out of 5. It's good. Also, the Extreme DVD edition is a 5 out of 5, a good one. Yeah, watch both versions. You can find out which one are the good one. Yeah, it's a good one. I'll give it a 5 out of 5. And the comic book adaptation by Marvel Comics is a 5 out of 5, good one. You should get it. Trying to find a good copy of it, probably on Amazon or any comic book store anywhere. I'll give Terminator 2 Judgment Day a 5 out of 5. Good sequel. I highly 100% recommendations over 9,000. Yeah, for my next review, I'm going to review the original Point Break. Till then, I gotta stop the T-1000 before it goes after John Connor again. Till then, stay safe and watch out for any cops who are from the future out to destroy you. See ya and stay safe on the road.